Please note, I wrote this paragraph 3 days before I flew to Granada, Spain, to drive the refreshed 2018 version of the Porsche GT3. I read it beforehand because I had some specific memories about the bright yellow 2015 GT3 that I wanted, to articulate before they got obscured by the fascination of the new. That GT3 marked the first time in my career I had nothing negative to say about a vehicle. True, I didn't review it. I just flung it around our Figure 8 course and then borrowed it for a weekend of joyriding. Still, in my mind there was actually nothing at all negative about that particular 3,267-pound, 475-horsepower Canyon Annihilator. It was essentially perfect. What about the fact that there was no manual transmission? Never even thought about it because I was enamored with Porsche's PDK dual-clutch transmission actually hitting the 9,000 RPM redline every time it shifted. If there had been a manual, I would have been shifting early. Summary: I don't have the foggiest idea how the wizards of Zuffenhausen can make the GT3 any better than it already is. Although I suspect Porsche will tell me once I get to Spain. Carbon fiber hinges. No, really. Once I got to the press conference at Hotel La Bobadilla, the Porsche peeps told me about the carbon fiber hinges. There are only 2 of them, just for the carbon fiber engine cover out back, and together they save almost 1 kilogram. Why not up front, for the front hinges? You don't want to take weight off the nose of a rear-engine car. But really, carbon fiber hinges? My initial theory was that there was so little wrong with the 991 version of the GT3 that the engineers had to resort to near gimmick refinements for the 991.2 version. To be fair, carbon fiber hinges were initially intended for the 7-figure 918 Spider. GT program boss Frank Walliser says they couldn't figure him out back then. I've noticed the fact that Walliser works on both street Porsches such as the GT3, GT3 RS, 911R and the poorly kept secret upcoming GT2 and race cars such as the 911R SR and 911 Cup. Because all the GT products are under one roof, the technology transfer from race to street is both quick and ongoing. The carbon fiber hinges are straight off the RSR. They changed other bits too. The composite front and rear aprons were also developed for the race team and now are sold to you and me. Well, at least those of us who can afford the GT3's $144,650 base price. The carbon fiber wing, crucially, is bigger. Not only does it look more aggressive, as GT model line director Andreas Preuninger told us, the GT3 has to be the most attractive 911, but the 20mm taller wing also produces more downforce and weighs 20% less. The extra height means the wing is cutting through clean air as opposed to dirty air that's already been tweaked by the GT3's other aero bits, such as the lateral air blades up front, which not only, supposedly, work but also help hide the mustache tips of the DRLs, my least favorite styling cue on the 991. Also of note are larger dual air intakes below the wing. The underbody is flat and feeds air to an improved diffuser. Another racy example, below the carbon fiber hinges rests the GT3's new heart, and it's the opposite of a gimmick. It's a 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat six that's good for 500 horsepower and 339 pounds-feet of torque, up from 475 horsepower and 324 pounds-feet of twist from the previous 3.8-liter engine, and it still spins to 9,000 RPM. Moreover, the big 4.0-liter is new, not merely an embiggened version of the 3.8-liter flat six found in previous Porsche GTs. The crankshaft is thicker, more rigid, and hollow because oil is now flowed through it. As such, the main bearings are larger, but the oil pump is smaller because it's doing less work. The engine uses a dry sump with a separate tank, like a Corvette Z06, and features 7 scavenger pumps to ensure constant oiling. The lifters are no longer hydraulic, but instead are solid, thereby decreasing friction. In other words, the whole enchilada spins more freely, improving everything. Back to the flow of tech between street and race cars. The engine was developed for the 911 GT3 Cup and is being used for the RSR, the GT3R, and the relatively humble GT3. Also, if sinful, mechanized sound is your thing, you're going to love the sounds of this motor, especially as it crests 7,000 RPM and keeps on snarling. The biggest 991.2 GT3 news is the introduction of a 6-speed manual transmission. Because the Porsche doppelcoupling 7-speed will shift in less time and produce quicker laps, the initial 991 version was PDK only. After all, you will be taking your GT3 to the track, won't you? The sheer volume of rendered garments and gnashed teeth as a result of that purely logical decision shocked Porsche, so much so that you can now opt for the manual. And what a manual! Unlike the not-so-hot 7-speed manual in the regular 911, the GT3 features only 6 forward gears. The biggest positive from this arrangement is that there are no longer 5 forward cadence positions. As a result, shifts are much more precise. Also gone are the plastic bushings from the 7-speed, replaced with copper bushings unearthed from the last time the 911 Cup race car was a row your own. It's hard to beat the feeling of pushing metal against metal.